right. I'm here with interviewee number three. This is Josh Dillard for my graduate program for Georgia Southern, and I'm sitting here with another person who has helped me in my journey to become an instructional technology specialist. We'll start the interview off. Could you tell me your name and your title?
My name is Mindy Doler, and I am the media specialist at North Oconee.
Awesome. Mindy, for your position, what degree is required for your position?
I have a master's degree. There are some states that just take a certification, but Georgia master's degree is what is required.
Awesome. So you have a master's degree. Tell me a little bit about background. How long have you been the media specialist? Were you in the classroom? Tell me a little bit about that.
I have been a media specialist. Technically, this is my 28th year. 26 is what I get paid for because I had 2 years that I started halfway through the school year. So I've been doing it since 1994. So a lot of things have changed in those years. I was at Florida State, graduated from Florida State, and my master's is library and information studies. Right after, maybe 2 or 3 years after I graduated, they actually took the information studies part out of that umbrella that we were under, and they put it with business and made
Okay.
like those people are making money.
That's right.
So all those people who are information technology with a business degree and can manage data and manipulate, that's what they did with that part of that degree. So it's a very
Gotcha.
interesting time period for sure.
That's right. So you've been in your position for quite a while. I know your day to day is not 100% with technology, but you do handle a lot of, especially in my class. I feel like I'm always sending people to you from my class to help. What would you say your role with technology is in just maybe a few sentences? How would you describe that?
Well, here at North Oconee, I work very closely with the TST, who is very hands-on. She really works with the hardware part of and with hardware part of technology, and then also the instructional technology specialist, who really does more of software and teaching and to integrate that all into. So I'm kind of somewhere in the middle when it comes to technology. I've over the years, so when I started, it was just me in the media center with a brand new system of network computers and network printers. In 1994, the school I was at got a multi-million-dollar grant to network the school as kind of we were very close to Tallahassee, and so Tallahassee liked to look at us as far as what does this look like, so they would come and visit and see. Well, so I did everything from patch cables to run network, diagnose network problems, take computers apart. I was doing all those things, and that was back before we had the internet. We had one computer in the media center with the internet on it, and I would sit there with the child and go, "Okay, guys, here we go. We're getting on the internet." And it was like a roller coaster ride. We weren't quite sure what we were going to get, so we typed something in, and we're like, all right, into the wild, wild west. So it was a very interesting time period for that. My next position, I moved to Gwinnett County, and they have a whole different. I mean, they're huge, so they have very like they had technology in Gwinnett County. There were two media specialists, two parapros in the media center, and a reading specialist that we all worked together. So that was our department. The technology department, who was also kind of with us always, they had an ITS, a TST, four parapros. The registrar was in that office, and then they had a kind of a overall person. I mean, it was a huge department all of its own, so to speak. So I didn't do anything with technology at that point. Then I got back and then I moved to Oconee County 20 years ago, and it was back to you're a media specialist, you're going to do technology with it. And so I went out, you know, I was on the floor doing stuff with computers, teaching different things. So I did a lot of, actually teaching kids media research, data, understanding those kinds of, how to look at a website and determine whether or not it's a valuable piece of information or not. That kind of technology, all the way to Um, I dropped my computer and it's now cracked. What do I
That's
do?
right.
So, it very much depends on where you are. And I hear that from a lot of media specialists. It depends on the district, their expectations of what you do.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Sounds like you wear a lot of hats and have worn a lot of hats. Um, so here's the next question. In terms of our LMS, Canvas, and It's Learning, we've had some various programs. I'm sure you've seen more throughout your years as a media specialist. Um, how would you say the integration between teaching and student usage with Canvas, with It's Learning, how has that helped students, I guess, better connect, teachers better connect? Have you seen any successes there with those programs?
Well, I think, one of the most amazing things to me is like, how sometimes you're just in the right place at the right time. That happened for us with COVID. We had just handed out a one-to-one device for each child in the high school. We had been doing the LMS before that. The teachers had been pulling all that together. Um, but the fact that once the kids had got the device and it was more of a daily thing in each class, it definitely took off. And then all of a sudden, it's like we had 7 months to prepare for something that we didn't even know was coming. And so when everything dropped off in March, it was absolutely, the kids were had all the tools they needed to just keep going, and the teachers did as well. It was I heard horror stories of kids who had problems because they didn't have a computer, and they were you know they just stopped teaching. They just stopped going to school. I mean, so thankfully our district did not have to do that. We carried on, and got those seniors graduated, which you want to what a horrible experience for them, but they were able to persevere, and that having those pieces in place, the hardware and the software in place, and having teachers having had some time to get into it and really kind of feel comfortable with it, um, that saved us.
Absolutely. Um, I know it's something we use. I know it's something we've trained on, and it helps with remote learning. It helps certainly in 2020. It sure did. Tell me, what does a day look like for you? I know in terms of all the hats you wear. Tell me about a day. What does a day look like for you?
Um, I have to say it, because it is so completely, every day is completely different. It makes it a lot of fun. I won't say I don't know what's coming, but I do know that if I have to pivot, I can very quickly. So coming in the mornings, there's kids already ready to see me. Basically, a lot of kids are looking for a place to sit and quietly and read and study, just to kind of, not, the commons area gets a little rambunctious, and so that's that kid that's like, I'm not hanging out there. I'm like, I feel that. Come on,
That's right.
come back with me. So a lot of kids come through as they're trying to print things off to get, they finish their project and they need a copy of it before they head to class. So in between classes, transition time, last 10 minutes, the first 10 minutes of each class, very busy, as far as a lot of activity. But then what happens is I'll get a class or two and then all throughout the day, I have various groups of students who are doing online school. I've got a group that's doing Georgia Tech. I've got a group that does UGA. I've got a group that does, just they're connecting to different courses all over the place. So they're all kind of doing, and I refer to it as directed independent study. In my head, that's what I call it. They have direction, they're doing it independently, and they're following their course, just like we would,
Yeah.
distance learning we have done in the past. So the kids are kind of, um, I won't say that it's completely natural to them yet, but these kids who have been fifth, sixth, and now are ninth graders and on into the seniors class, they've taken to the online component very, very well. So there's always groups of kids who, I've got a couple of kids who are doing Chinese. I've got one young lady who is doing American Sign Language online. So I mean, it's just kind of, and that's the beauty of a library. It morphs into lots of different things for lots of different people. So then I'll have classes come in, and sometimes they just want to. They've got a big class, and they just want to spread out and do some group work where they can kind of walk around and get together and do some things. Some of them need to print out. Some of them need to like roll a big, huge piece of paper out on the floor and spread out. I have a very large room, lots of space, and I can move the tables. I like to move the tables out of the way and, format it however the teachers are want it or the kids want it. I don't have a set format. I'm like, just however you need the tables, that's where they need to go. So I'll have classes come in that just need tables. I'll have classes come in. Like yesterday, I had a group come in to do the first leg of their research for the Crucible. So they were learning different databases that we have available to them. Galileo, which is funded by the state of Georgia, it is a massive database that everyone from kindergartners through college level have used Galileo. They use it in college all the time. And then also it's available for the everyday person. It's just happens to be when you're in the school compartment, it has kind of more school stuff, whereas the everyday person has kind of a different look to their Galileo. But it's a massive database, so I try to show them, here's where you need to go. Let's just stick in this little pool right here because all that out there is just too much. This you will find all you need right here. So just helping them figure out again that if it's been through Galileo, there's been some vetting to it. So it's a reliable resource. Show them how to cite it, show them how to keyword search it. And here's the thing that to me is, why I get up, like I go to bed every night and I'm thinking, I just have to sleep for 8 hours and I get to come back to work again because I love the high schoolers. I've taught middle school as well. I love them too. But there's always something happening. There's always something new. I'm teaching something. It's seeing them kind of get it. I have to say, I had a time, after all these years, I finally have a way that it clicked with me to show them how to do something that they always struggled with. That is when you're looking online, when you're doing a Google search or whatever for a particular article about the Crucible, getting a lot of information. How do you narrow that 1,000 hits that you found down to something manageable? And so I talked about Venn diagrams and Boolean logic, and you have to say, how, using this but not that, and I want to like if I wanted to search for great white sharks, if I just type in great white shark, it's going to search great, it's going to search white, and it's going to search shark individually. But if you put it in quotes, it puts them together and searches just for that term. So teaching those kinds of techniques and how to keyword search. And all of a sudden it dawned on me and I went, okay, online shopping, you're looking for something very specific. If you type in pants, you're going to have everything. How do you limit it? How do you narrow that down to the pants that you want? And the kids were going by size, by color, by brand, and I'm like, yes, 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 yes. I said, that's how we're going to do that. So if you were to type red pants, you're going to get, if you're going to type UGA sweatpants, right. So all of a sudden they had all these words that they were coming up with themselves in that Crucible brain that they had to find articles. And they were like, oh, so if I wanted to search jealousy and the Crucible, I'm like, you got it. That's it. I mean, after all these years, I'm like, y'all are going to be the best keyword searchers in the world because they do it all the time. They're constantly filtering for the exact thing that they want online. I just had to put it in a way that that's what you're doing when you're doing this. It's the same thing. So awesome. It was really cool.
It is. I think not knowing what each day is going to hold, it keeps you coming back for more. It does. I like that. So we're going to shift a little bit. I want to ask you about a particular committee that I know you've headed up, especially since I've been here, and it's the media committee. I know we've done some things, we've reviewed some things, and I've actually studied this in my program. Just different pieces of work that we've looked at. Tell me about your committee. How'd you piece it together, and what that looks like, I guess, in your role?
So my committee is very important. As you know, this has been going on around, not anything in the news all the time right now. Ban books. People are disputing whether or not certain books should be available to everyone. So we, as a school, my job is to make sure that there's enough literature on the shelf that is interesting, it's something that they want to read, or classics, or something to do with a project that they're working on. So somehow, is fulfilling those roles. Um, but we do have criteria. I tell people all the time, I was like, so when we have a book, we have our committee look over it, and I say, if it's something that is overly, um, overly promiscuous, or overly, a lot of drugs and alcohol, and there's no kind of resolution to that. I mean, it's like, hey, just we went out and had a rager and got drunk, and then the next day was fine. No consequence. So you don't want to seem like you're promoting those
Right.
ideas, but you also don't want to completely, be believe that every child's home life is like lollipops and rainbows. It's not. So you want to try to find that they do identify with things, but not to the point where it seems to be, okay, that was a little intense for me. Also, I want to make sure that they have options. So we are very lucky that we have bookstores in our area, and we have lots of public libraries. So it's not just the media specialist, the media center here, but like I said, yes, we have our committee review those books and make sure that they feel comfortable. I was like, I want you to feel comfortable handing this to a child and being like, read it, enjoy it, you'll love it. And if you can't do that, then it maybe doesn't belong for us. It maybe belongs someplace else. And as
Um,
far as the committee makeup
yeah.
goes, it is teachers and community members, which are parents or just community members, administration, and I always invite students to be a part of that. I feel like they are one of my client, that's who I'm here for, is teachers and for students. So I definitely want them in that committee to give feedback. They're not allowed to review the books. They are very disappointed about that. I said, that's
Sure.
okay. You can be the first one to read it after it gets reviewed, but um, they definitely give great feedback.
I love that you include different stakeholders. Everybody in that list is impacted by by our media center and what we have to offer. And so I love how you cross off students, teachers, community members, administration. They all have a piece of the puzzle. So I really like that. So that's a really good format.
Thank you.
So two questions back to back, and I'll let you choose what you want to answer first. I want your best part of your job, and I want the most challenging part of your job. I'll let you choose which one you answer first.
Um, Best part of my job, the whole thing. I just connecting with the kids, handing them a book, and then coming back to them later and go, "Did you like it?" You remember those kids that you're like, "Oh my gosh, I found my new favorite author," and that's a lot of fun. I also love teaching. I tell them all the time. I'm like, when you go out into the real world, whether it's college or the workplace, I said, the librarians at the college or the public library are there for you. They're there to help you with whatever you need. I said the public librarians have an amazing array of information, knowledge. Um, People go in there and ask how to do their taxes. I mean, it's just a ton of stuff. And same thing for the college, obviously a little bit more narrow, but you can go in there and ask them. So that's what they're waiting for. They're waiting. I said, I love to be challenged. I love for them to go, I'm not sure if I don't know where this, and I go, I don't either. I'm gonna have to figure this out. So I love being challenged. Um, so connecting with students, I think, is my favorite part, and teachers. Um, and the most challenging part is getting everything done in a day. Because it's just me, I cannot this I'm here in my back room right now. We're all, if I was to turn my camera around there, just you'd see stacks of books, and it's just I can't get to the I can't, no matter how late I stay in the day,
Doesn't
I
matter.
can't get it all done. So that's probably my most challenging, is walking away from helping the kids out front, and kind of, if I can get a little bit of help in the front, then I can get to the back and do some stuff back here. So yeah, that's the challenging part.
I think what I've noticed in my time in the media center has been you'll be working on something. Here comes two students. They need something. They want help. They need guidance. You have to pause what you're working on, help the students, and try to remember. I mean, it can be tough.
And try to remember what I was
I
doing
can see
10
it.
minutes before that.
That's right.
But they are my job. I mean, I will
That's
drop
right.
everything for a student or a teacher because that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. Well, Mindy, I appreciate it. You have done a fantastic job in your role as media specialist, and I appreciate you helping me out as I'm going towards this degree in technology. And I look forward to many other experiences tackling some technology issues.
I will say that's the main thing is that you never with technology you never quite know what you're going to get, but it's always a good time. We always have fun in here.
That's exactly right. Well, Mindy, thank you so much. I appreciate it. We're going to sign off.
All right, have a good
All
day.
right. Thank you.